And Doug, we do have a quorum. We are recording and we are live. So whenever you want to begin.
Okay, let me see who's here. Okay. Jessica and Patrick and Steve Topaz, are you here? Yeah,
I'm not.
Okay, all right. Okay, it's Wednesday, May 5th, 2021, and it's 6:30 p.m. And we're going to have an Urban Renewal Agency meeting. So I'd like to open that public meeting now. And let's go through roll call. So can each of the members, my name is Doug Morton, and I am chairing this meeting. And can all members identify themselves as here? State your name and state your name, and that will be enough.
Rick Scholl here.
Steve Topaz.
Jessica Chilton.
Patrick Berkeley here.
And again, Doug Morton is here. Okay, so we're going to consent agenda for approval. The draft minutes dated September 2nd, 2020. I all had a chance to look those over. Were there any corrections or any additions to those minutes? Hearing none, they stand approved. Time for public comment. Do we have anyone available for public comment? I see two people on the screen. And that's it. I see Matt's name and Jess. Anyone else? Okay. Hearing none, let's move on to discussion and action items. First thing we'll have to do is get a chair for next year and a vice chair. So we'll open the nominations at this point. Do I hear any nominations?
Doug Morton, didn't we just announce you as this the person to follow after you?
Yeah, and so what happened there is that was the budget. That was for the budget meeting for next year. This is for the meeting, the same meeting that we're having tonight. Okay, the last one was for a budget meeting.
Okay, so this meeting, I also nominate Doug Morton.
I'll second it.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
I vote aye.
Hearing
Aye.
none. Hearing none. Okay, let's take a vote for Doug Morton for being the chair for 2021-22. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 And
Aye.
raise your hand. Okay. Jessica, raise your thumb. I got it. I love it. Okay.
So we just need a motion for vice chair.
And now we need a motion for a vice chair.
I would like to nominate Jessica Chilton for vice chair.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Jessica Chilton is the vice chair for the Urban Renewal Agency for the year 2021, 2022. All in favor signify by raising their hand saying aye.
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 Unanimously passed. Okay, so from that, the outcome is Doug Morton will be chairing the 21-22 Urban Renewal Reagency, and the vice chair will be Jessica Chilton for 2021-22. Congratulations, guys. Way to go. All right. Now, let's go to resolution number UR/006, adopting the 2021-2022 budget. Everyone have a chance to look over that budget again. The total resources were $407,000. just for recall, if you don't have it in front of you. Was there any discussion on that?
Chair Morton, I can just give a quick review. This resolution does three things. It adopts the urban renewal budget, it makes appropriations, and it also declares a tax increment. So we're adopting a budget amount of 407,000. The appropriations are going all to contingency, and then the tax increment is the maximum allowable under Oregon state law in the split. So it's kind of a combo, if you will. So.
This is basically what we discussed in the budget meeting, correct?
This is all the necessary steps to fulfill the budgeting requirements, yes.
Okay, and then can I read over that resolution then? Okay, take that opportunity. Resolution number UR/06. Resolution adopting the budget for the 2021-22 fiscal year, making appropriations, declaring the tax increment, and collecting the maximum amount of division of the tax. One, adopting the budget. Be it resolved that the City of St. Helens Urban Renewal Agency hereby adopts the budget for a fiscal year 2021-22 in the total of $407,000 on file at the City of St. Helens, 265 Strand Street, St. Helens, Oregon. Making appropriations. Be it resolved that the amounts shown in Exhibit A, City of St. Helens Urban Renewal Agency proposed budget 2021-22 budget are hereby appropriated for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021. Declaring a tax increment. Be it resolved that the City of St. Helens Urban Renewal Agency hereby elects to certify to county assessor that a request for St. Helens Urban Renewal plan area for the maximum amount of revenue that may be raised by dividing the taxes on Section 1E, Article 9 of the Oregon Constitution and ORS Chapter 457. Any questions?
So moved.
Was that clear? Okay. And do I hear, Topaz, did you move to?
I move that we accept. Well,
Okay.
I move we need a second, I believe.
Resolution UR06. I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved in second that the resolution number UR-06 be adopted. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously passed. And so we have 5 ayes and 0. Okay, and I need to sign that. And Jen, you need to attest to it. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Let's see, what do we have here now for other business? Let's think here. Oh, we have administrative report.
Thank you, Chair Morton. So I don't want to have a full rehash of the budget committee talk, and it seems to be a little bit of a broken record talking about the impacts of Armstrong on the community and the delays in the formation and success of the Urban Renewal Agency. But I think it'd be valuable to go over, look at the Urban Renewal Plan, the plan goals, and then the projects list real briefly to see what our adopted priorities are. And I'm going to ask if Matt would share the screen and go to section 1.2 there. There you go. Yep. And there's 5 goals. Complying with statutory requirements, stakeholder involvement is kind of a baseline goal. And then it's about providing adequate infrastructure for public amenities and supporting that new development that we're looking to take these blighted properties, add value to increase the tax base, and then return those to the tax rolls at a much higher value through these investments. And then there's an element around transportation and keeping things safe and addressing the capacity issues of existing transportation corridors. And that's certainly a goal. The goal 4 is about the Columbia River development, the waterfront development. Is a strong emphasis to the projects list. You'll see here in a minute about the public access and that connection to the river that we've heard loud and clear from the community that wants to see that forever into our future. So, and then also, lastly but not least is the revitalization of the Holton and Riverfront business districts, and making that connection from uptown to I won't call it Old Town, but to the Riverfront district, in a seamless kind of way that attracts people, builds investment, and things of that nature. So the project list is in section 2. And this is a really, high level, quick go through here. Again, the goals right there. We'll start off and look at, you see a lot of projects centered around the waterfront, and there's a map that corresponds with a number and an amount. And it's important to note that these are kind of placeholder amounts, that any one of those dollar amounts may not be the entire cost of the project. It might be a contributing amount to the project. For instance, number 8 there, we have a Marina Contribution, and we've budgeted $750,000 in that plan to contribute towards a marina. That probably won't pay for the cost of marina, but it may attract or entice or provide some infrastructure that allows that, attracts that, either a grant or private investment or a combination of all things to get that to activate and work. Both the trails, the courthouse plaza is on there as a similar kind of a contribution towards the rehabilitation of the plaza. Wayfinding improvements, we've had some success with that. The road extensions at First and Strand are projects we're currently working on, and First and the Strand, you'll see several projects related to that. Old Portland and Road Gable intersections is certainly a high priority. You'll notice it's not a really big number right there, because that's a number that it's a state highway. So we're looking at that to be more of a leveraging dollars to kind of work that with some state money to make that intersection function better, however we can get it to in the future. And then some of our other adopted plans as far as a corridor, gateway, connections from the highway to the Riverfront district and returning back to the highway from both directions are all part, integral to this plan. So the total project list here totals up to $42,356,000, which is a lot of money. It has, and the maximum indebtedness for this agency is $62 million. And there's reason that there's a difference between the project list and the total maximum indebtedness is that there's a debt component to this. So we're making the investments front end. We're through the Urban Renewal Agency funding projects, taking on debt, servicing debt that has interest. And over that time period, that's what we anticipate as a reasonable amount. And right now interest rates are really low, so that's favorable. Our financial projections are much more of a moderate to, they're much higher than they are right now. So that those numbers could change, or there could be more capacity to do projects. So that's a lot, and it's touching the tips of the mountaintops there. But if there's and then the budget committee, we talked on administrative costs, recapturing some of those costs to agency administration, because the burden, because an urban rural agency can take on that burden of administrative costs to the city right now, supports it until we get to a place where it can take that on.
Yeah.
So if there's any questions, John. When the Urban Renewal Agency gets big enough, it has its own staff. Does it report to the city, or is it independent of the city? How does that work?
So there would typically be an agency director and staff, and we'd prorate time between those two agencies, or the city as a municipal entity and the Urban Renewal Agency as its own entity. So they're still city employees.
Okay. Second question. Now we have this official, fantastic Urban Renewal Agency. Does that give us, the agency, any leverage to beat on ODOT to get into the city over the railroad from 30? Or is it we really are limited by the city's horsepower?
So urban renewal has some tools. They have condemnation and some other kind of tools that we don't use very often to acquire properties, to make decisions, to, buy above market or sell below market to entice development. How it relates to ODOT, I can't say exactly, other than that we're bringing some resources to the table through this agency to, and entice investment.
I would just hope that we have the city of St. Helens and the Urban Renewal Agency as, quote, two people interested in improving that. That was the hope, that maybe an extra name on the list. Obviously, the port, we can jump something over that.
Yes, it's another letter of support for sure for funding applications and the like.
So that opens up some kinds of concerns with, and I just want to open this up to any comments or questions at this point. I didn't have that opportunity, but any comments or any further comments and concerns, questions?
I do have a question. So I'm still wrapping my head around it and getting the fact that even though the budget committee and the board are essentially the city budget committee and city council and staff are two distinct entities. Okay, and you explained some of that, John, there too. So that when it comes to expenditures of the agency, that is money that the agency pays directly, or does it give to the city as a flow through mechanism? So when the URA is finally spending money, how does that work?
It flows through the city. It's not uncommon for cities to front load an urban renewal agency to, give it some money to go out and do loans and, secure debt, and to actually back the agency through full faith and credit obligations. They are tied together in that fashion.
And our county currently has a urban renewal, correct?
They have two districts, yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Council or Chairperson Morton, could I make a recommendation that we down the road have a just a little more in-depth look at urban renewal as far as those projects, just a little bit more deeper in depth instead of a general overview?
I think that's an appropriate question, and I think it's a good idea, and we'll act on that in just a minute. And I just want to further up that to discussion. Does anyone here on the Urban Renewal Agency know when and how projects are sunsetted, and how monies, extra monies are allocated to the certain specific projects that we have outlined to do? I think all of those things, those are questions that I have in the back of my mind, and I'm sure that the rest of you have some further questions as well. So I think Mayor Scholl, I think that's a good recommendation. And I think we can just move forward on that for our agenda on our next meeting. Would that be appropriate for staff?
Can I just ask a clarifying question? So when you say how projects are sunsetted so that we can research, do you mean how we know if a project is completed and no longer needs urban renewal funds spent on it?
Yes, all those kinds of little things that probably need to be explained and gone over maybe one more time to everyone, so that we understand where we're at and where we're going in a very clear picture. So
Yeah.
I think that's needed.
Okay.
I would personally like to know why projects are on the list. You know what I mean? Understanding that part of it also.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was-
I
yeah.
think now is a great time to ask any questions, and we'll summarize the questions so that we can come back with detailed answers. So if anyone has
So,
burning questions, let's get
I
those on the
think Councilor
table.
Chilton's was a good one. In the short form I got, but her question was, how did projects get on the list?
Yep.
And so that would be a good one to check out. And I can do it in short form real fast, is because that's what we sold to the taxing districts, because they all had to agree to allow us to be an urban renewal agency, and they did. So 100% unanimous, the whole project list. It was crazy.
John, can you reflect on that just a bit too?
Yeah, for sure. My intent with this report was, given the constraints of time here, it was a half-hour meeting, so I didn't want to go
Yep.
too deep into anything. But yeah, it was a robust public process, and it's really built on a foundation. And we're in a place where a lot of urban and rural agencies form, and then they figure out their planning and projects. But we formed an agency built upon a robust list of projects that coming from the Gateway Connector, the Riverfront Connector, all of our the framework plan for the waterfront. Those all were detailed plans. We've been doing a lot of our grant writing, and cost estimates are real, real numbers based off engineering estimates. They're not just planning level estimates. So we felt pretty good, and I think that's some of the reason for our success with our partnering taxing agencies buy off on this, was that we, it's pretty sophisticated for an urban renewal plan.
And I think
early on. So.
I'm recalling that meeting, we had good representation from all stakeholders that were involved, and they all kind of like prioritized the projects, what would be first, as well as defining the areas that the agency would develop, defining that area. It was pretty intense, and it was very involved with a much representation from, again, the stakeholders and public comment as well. That happened in the process of 4 and 3 years ago, I believe. 3 and 4.
Exactly. And there was an advisory committee that included representation from all the taxing districts who were foregoing revenue as part of the agency. So we got buy-in from all the agencies that were affected.
Jenny, and the agencies, how do we deal with the port? Are we equal to them, or, I mean, obviously some of our areas have their stuff in our way or whatever.
So the port is an overlapping taxing district, but their region extends well outside the city's urban renewal agency. And so the impact to the port specifically is negligible.
But how do we react with them where we overlap?
Yes, they are an overlapping taxing jurisdiction. Yep.
On our projects, how does that work?
So
I think there's a financial perspective that there's an overlap where their base is frozen, just like all the other taxing agencies are frozen, and they're missing out on some increment over the next 20 years until our investments come online. But it's, our relationship with the port is strong. We're good partners in economic development. We're at the table together on many things, and I'm not sure if that answers your question as far as overlap.
Well, let's say down on the port property next to the White Mill property, they want to build a gumball building factory. Do we help them financially, or how does that work? I'm talking specifics. Do we help financially, or will they handle that problem financially totally by themselves?
The agency would have the authority to support projects, yes.
Okay, that's what I want to know. So we could help them financially when they're in our area.
Chairperson Morton, I think this is like
All right,
what would be
exactly.
part of
That's
that
where I'm
meeting.
going. Yeah. So I barely opened it up after the administrative report if there were any questions. This could go for some time, and there was a recommendation also to put this on the agenda for our next meeting, and so that we have a clear understanding of where we're going. We can entertain all those questions, all those comments at that time. So we might have to go over a half-hour meeting for sure.
Yeah.
So,
And please email, like if you didn't voice questions tonight, please email John or I so we can start collecting these questions for a future meeting.
And Council President Morton or Chair
Yes.
Morton, I apologize, Chair Morton, could we set the date for the, would be the first Wednesday of, because we have a bunch of meetings set for our third Wednesdays of every month, as you know.
okay, so you'd like to do that on a meeting at 6 o'clock
Yeah, yeah,
on the first, did you say the first?
Wednesday of June, if at
First
all
Wednesday
possible.
Okay, and is June too soon for anyone, or is that fine with everyone?
If it's all right, I think we need to check the schedule to make sure there's no conflicting public
Sure.
hearings.
Yeah, because I think there is,
Just with budget
Already a
adoptions
hearing.
occurring and.
Oh, there
all the-
is, Patrick's right.
there's already a hearing
There
planning.
is coming
Appeal.
up, yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
But we can come back with a date that doesn't conflict and
Okay.
also allow us enough time to collect questions and set an agenda.
Okay, good, okay, then you can email us with that?
Yeah, sure. And I've
Okay.
been printing hard copy versions of the Urban Renewal Agency packets. Is that something that people prefer and like to have both still?
I'd like to
Yes.
have those, yes. However, I haven't picked mine up yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I asked. And Councillor Chilton and Berkeley, I didn't hear your answers there.
The electronic is fine. I do like to have a paper copy of agendas, but the the electronic versions of the other documents are fine. If I need a specific one, I'll request, but generally electronic is fine.
Okay.
I'm the same.
Okay, so just agendas for children. Okay, I just like to note that because it's just.
I'm a
extra
paper guy.
Yeah, I figured. I've been printing them. Okay, sounds good,
I
guys.
know,
Thanks.
thank you.
Is there any other business? And on these kinds of things, I would like to see after the administrative report, a bit of discussion, question, answer, or old business, new business kind of thing. So we stay with the agenda. All right. I would appreciate that so much. Any other comments, concerns? Okay, I will deem it adjourned. I need a knock. There we go.